Welcome fans and foes, viewers and haters. I'm your raging Canadian and here's today's review. Since it's Christmas time, I guess it would only make sense that I review an old Christmas movie. Well, this one isn't that old, but it is most definitely a load of crap! Christmas with the Kranks. Also known as the day Tim Allen's career narrowly survived a suicide attempt. It took just one viewing of this movie to make me despise it more than any other Christmas movie in my life. Well, let's get on with the review. And since it's Christmas time, I decided to give a special gift to you, the viewers, this holiday season. Don't worry, this is a gift that anyone can appreciate, no matter what your religious or spiritual beliefs are. What might that gift be? Spoiling this decaying carcass of a movie so you never have to watch it. That's right, Merry freaking Christmas! So the movie starts out with the Kranks, a small family of Christmas fanatics sending their only daughter Blair to Peru, making this Christmas the first one they'll celebrate without her. So after his daughter goes away, Luther Krank, played by the unfortunate Tim Allen, gets the wacky idea of skipping Christmas with his wife and going to the Caribbean instead. Oh my gosh! The very thought that people would actually leave their homes during the holidays is just totally ludicrous. Well, believe it or not, that's exactly what every neighbor in the town thinks of their idea. In fact, they're not only concerned, but angry that the Kranks would do such a thing. And this is actually the main focus of the film. People who are just downright upset over the fact that people won't celebrate Christmas. This has got to be the most insane neighborhood on the friggin' planet. Just two people decide, hey, maybe we'll do something different than Christmas this year. And they look like they're about to burn them at the stake for it. Did this neighborhood ever consider the fact that maybe there are people out there that don't celebrate Christmas? No, I guess the words Hanukkah or Kwanzaa are just considered evil and not truly appreciating the true holiday spirit. You are nothing but bigots! So just how Christmas crazy is this town? Well, they actually stand on the Kranks' lawn and demand that they decorate their house. Why are they doing this? Because they want the neighborhood to win the annual Best Decorated Street contest. Oh, now I get the picture. The neighbors are only interested in getting stuff. Good grief. Isn't the whole meaning of the holidays supposed to be about family and compassion and goodwill toward men? No. Just like a spoiled little child who's upset that they didn't get what they wanted under the tree, these grown adults can't stand the fact that they don't get a pathetic little ribbon. Boo! Frickety! Hoo! Then the movie continues on and carolers come by the neighborhood where they ask if the house across the street is Jewish or Buddhist. And conveniently for this movie, no one of those beliefs are mentioned or seen aside from that remark. Because in this town, they probably killed them already! So after the carolers try to sing them out of their home, the film continues on with its pathetic little plot about the children demanding to see Frosty on the Kranks' roof. Oh, I'm sorry. I had this wonderful little dream that I wasn't watching this movie. So after that scene, Luther decides he's had enough. What a coincidence. So have I! Luther now sprays his lawn with ice so the carolers will stay away. Why don't you just tell them to leave? So then after a lot of other useless plot devices, including Luther getting a Botox injection, the Kranks receive a call from Blair with some important news. She's coming home for Christmas after all. And that's not even the best part. She actually got engaged to a guy named Enrique, who she's dated for about a month, and of course, Luther secretly disapproves. So what do the Kranks decide to do? Don't tell your child the truth. Lie! Lie, lie, lie to their face just so you can cover your own butts. Because that, my friends, is the secret to a happy family. Ladies and gentlemen, the parents of the friggin' year. So with this, the Kranks, or rather just Nora, decide to change their plans and have their annual Christmas Eve party after all. So Luther goes off to the house of a neighbor who asks if he can borrow his tree since the neighbor and his family are leaving town. So let me see if I get this straight. The Kranks decide to go on a little Caribbean cruise during the holidays, and the town makes a huge freaking deal about it, but this family goes away and nobody ever says a thing about it until now? This story can't even follow its own idiotic logic, and that is pretty sad. You know what? Following this scene is some pretty stupid things. Yes, even for this movie, and I really don't want to go into detail with them. So I'm just gonna sum them up. Nora goes to get Blair's favorite ham and watches it get smashed in front of her when it's only inches away from her fingers. Luther and a kid named Spike try and borrow the tree. Luther gets arrested for stealing it after Spike vanishes for some reason. Spike then returns to be the little twit that he is and prove to the officers that Luther wasn't stealing at all. The police corner the stupidest burglar in the world who steals valuables just so he can chuck it at the police when they corner him. And Luther tries to put Frosty up on the roof, but falls off because Tim Allen's never fallen off a roof before on a successful TV show. And Frosty actually stares at him with hellfire in his eyes like he's some kind of demon. As you can guess, the shenanigans only go from bad to worse as they realize their party will only end in disaster. All because they can't stand the fact at disappointing their daughter. Unlike this movie, which seems to have no problem in disappointing its audience. And all the while this putrid garbage continues, a random old man who Nora's never met before talks to her and she asks him if he'd like to come to their party. Yet this man seems to know her name, her daughter's name, and her address. Do I even need to spell it out for you at how disturbing the thought of this is? So the town starts to come together for the Kranks Christmas party where everybody comes in to celebrate the spirit of the holidays and blah 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 blah. If you wanted us to give a crap about this movie, maybe it would have made it interesting. So the party goes on where Luther is still uptight that he didn't get his vacation and then goes over to a grouchy neighbor's house who is currently in the middle of their own problems, since the neighbor's wife is battling cancer for a third time and may not get to live to see next Christmas. Luther realizes he has been a bit selfish and decides to skip his vacation plans and give their tickets to the neighbor instead. Now I have to admit, this was a touching scene, but honestly, when the entire build up to this climax has just been utter crap, I'd rather watch this scene than the movie itself. So as Luther heads home, that pesky burglar has stolen their valuables and gets caught by a Santa from the beginning of the movie with an umbrella. And just who is the Santa in fact? Marty, the random creepy old guy that Nora invited. So Luther and Nora make up in front of the snow, looking at their home with happiness. Well, at least the movie's over with, and it didn't get anywhere. Oh, of course it has to! Not only does Marty turn out to be the Santa Claus from earlier in the movie, but he turns out to be the real Santa Claus! This movie is a freaking joke! And the worst part is, I'm not laughing! Nobody is! This movie is so stupid it boggles the mind. It's nothing but bickering neighbors making a mountain out of a molehill and acts like they're trying to send a good Christmas message. What message? Give in to peer pressure? Lie to your children? Force your neighbors to believe what you do? Guilt trip people into giving you stuff? The plot is something original that just mutates until it destroys itself. The characters and their performances are just annoying. The comedy is barely passable. And the way people treat this situation is just totally ridiculous. Christmas with the Kranks is just painfully awful and nothing but a train wreck of random plot devices. Its only saving grace is the scene at the end where Luther gives his tickets to the elderly couple. My rating is a 1 out of 10. Well, that's about all for this year's Christmas special. Time to put up my feet, sit by the tree, and aim my potato launcher at a certain flying man in red for leaving coal in my stocking. Happy holidays, YouTube!